judgment. The judgment is going to be severe. And one of the reasons it's going to be so severe is because of the apostasy of the American people, the apostasy of the Christians, nominal Christians. There's no such thing as a nominal Christian in the Lord's views. You either are standing on Jesus Christ and every word he spoke, or you're not. It's got to be one or the other. So anyway, back to what's going on in Washington. I kind of drift here and there. While the anti-Trump machine, the Mueller investigations that have been going on now, they have never found any trace of collusion. However, as I said, more and more evidence is found dealing with Hillary, Bill, other deep state operatives, FBI corruption, Department of Justice corruption. But as I said, there are no grand juries, there are no indictments, there are no arrests, and absolutely nothing is being done to drain the swamp. To the contrary, it appears the swamp is now getting deeper. It's getting more entrenched than it ever was. So let's take a look at what's really going on here, because it's very, very interesting to me how this is all being played out. And I'm going to tell you right up front, I think we're being scammed. And the reason I think that is Psalm 2. Nobody seems to pay any attention to Psalm 2. You ought to memorize it. You ought to put it in your heart. Psalm 2, the kings of the earth and the rulers all get together, I'm paraphrasing it, all get together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands from us. We don't want this man to rule over us. We have our own concepts. We have our own new world order without Jesus Christ. We have our own new world order without God the Father and without the Holy Ghost. We have our own Messiah that we're going to put on the throne to rule our global government. That's what this is all about, folks. This is what this is all about. Don't think for a minute it isn't. Okay, so let's take a look at Donald Trump and what's really going on under Trump. Here is what has not been decommissioned. Now, this came right out of my head. I haven't done any further research. There are probably 50 other items that I did not even mention because I just did this from memory. To the contrary, it appears to be made stronger in preparation for the takeover, the rounding up of Americans. Bio-ID and surveillance has been increasing rapidly under Donald Trump, along with tighter and tighter economic and banking controls and banking reporting. This is very, very serious. Because remember, the mark of the beast is primarily an economic control mark. Don't think for a second that it isn't, because it is. Silent weapons for quiet wars. You know what the end result was? A mark, a computer chip of some type, be it ink, be it an insertion of one of those little pellets or a size the grain of a rice, whatever it is. Doesn't matter what it is. Where every economic move you make, online, offline, on the telephone, your cell phone, cell is prison, that sort of thing. People really ought to start looking at that and saying, I wonder what's going on. Why did they name it a cell phone? Well, because you're a prisoner in the system. You're being entrapped by it. You're being surveilled by it. They want to know everything about you. They just had an article on Google about Google. It wasn't by Google. It was about Google. And everything that Google was collecting upon you, same with Facebook, same with Twitter, they're all collecting data. Why do they want the data? They then create dossiers on you. Why do they want dossiers on you? Well, because you might be a threat to the New World Order. Do you love motherhood? Are you against abortions? Do you love grandma and apple pie and Thanksgiving and Christmas? Ooh. Well, that's not going to fit all that well in the New World Order. And so they collect all this data. We've mentioned before on the Best Global Report, and we've mentioned it elsewhere on Night Shadows Radio, which, by the way, you really should tune into. You should become a member of Night Shadows Radio. It's only $9.95 a month, and you're going to get the real truth, whether you like it or don't like it. Really, in your mind, should not matter whether you like it or don't like it. What you need is solid information and solid truth. You see, what's happened to the American people is simple. They don't want to be educated at all. They just simply want to be entertained. They don't want to be educated because, gee, that might require a little brain work. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there that are deadly serious about all this, and I'm not talking about you folks. I'm talking about average Joe American. I'm talking about average Joe Christian American. They want no education. Having itching ears, they've already turned their ears away from the truth, and they have embraced the lie. And they will continue to embrace the lie until Jesus Christ comes back. And then all of a sudden, trouble is coming. And they're not going to know why or how they're being punished. They just won't. They won't tie it all together. But anyway, getting back to what is not being decommissioned under Donald Trump. And this ought to be a clue that there's something wrong here. Something very wrong. Because you would think that if you wanted to restore America and really make her great again, that you would remove the most dangerous threats to the American people. You wouldn't be doing things, little things here and there. You'd be removing the most dangerous aspects of all this. And you know why it can't be done? Because Congress will not allow it to be done. We have people in high places in both Democrat and Republican parties that are all deep state communists. And what you're watching is a communist I don't know what you would call it, incursion, coup, probably be a better word, a takeover, a dethroning of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, a total makeover of who America is and what America is. It's a slow process. It's a gradual process. I call it slow treason. It's incremental. It's kind of like gun control laws. They should really look up the word infringed. Because the word infringed implies very slow taking away the rights for this reason or for that reason, when in reality the goal of the UN communist takeover of the United States is to eliminate every American's right to own any kind of a firearm. And in Great Britain now they're saying, well, knives are awful dangerous. We got to do something about knives. Well, gee, I think baseball bats probably are dangerous too, so we should take away all baseball bats. Well, you can kill people with cars. Let's just get rid of all cars. Well, if you have a little scooter, you could really hurt somebody with a scooter. We'll take away all scooters as well. Well, maybe a little bike that's very lightweight so you really can't hurt people would be the only way to have transportation. You see, this is the communist mind. The communist mind is one of absolute total control over everything you do, over everything you think, over everything you are. It's all being eliminated. It's all being trashed. There's a reason for it. Oh, you better believe there's a reason for it. It's called the New World Order. Jesus Christ warned us all about it. He called it actually the system of Antichrist. And that's what it is. So let's get back to Donald Trump. What has he actually decommissioned since he's been in office? Oh, a few regulatory rules from EPA, et cetera, a few rules preventing people from doing business. I haven't seen anything on the banking yet. In fact, I see just the reverse. I wonder why that is. The war on cash is increasing around the world. I haven't seen that abating anywhere. Wonder why that is. Couldn't be because we're going into a cashless digital society. One kind of like China's gunning for with their social credit system, where they shame you openly if you go against what the elite in China have decided is a good citizen. Are you a good citizen? Well, why is your credit card score only 530? You need to be shamed. Obviously, you don't know how to handle cash at all, or it wouldn't be at 530 or 400 or 600. The camera the other day caught you jaywalking. You need to be shamed for that too. You got a traffic ticket the other day from the police for speeding. Uh-oh, boy, you have to lose a whole bunch of privileges in the order, the social credit order that China has now set up. This is real, it's happening, and it's going to be here. It already is in partiality, simply because we have credit score companies, 3 big ones, who monitor your credit. Whoever gave them the authority or the power to do that? Nobody. They just did it. Well, the government's, you're supposed to be secure in your papers. Well, the government's not doing it. These are private companies. Oh, really? Yeah, well then the government simply hires these private companies for the information and data they've already collected on you. If you don't believe this, go to the Social Security office and find out how much they know about you. I went in maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. I was absolutely amazed at everything they knew.